Welcome to GDs, and this is Snowpiercer Season 2. Season starts with Snowpiercer refusing to surrender but willing to negotiate, and Alex, in order for them to start moving, gives them a project list that they need, and Layton scramble teams to get the products within the time frame. While on the outside, Melanie survives the fall and manages to cut Wilford's uplink to the Snowpiercer, which gives some control back to the train. In addition, she also discovers that it is snowing outside despite the temperature being too cold for it. Inside the train, Layton provided Alex with all the products Mr. Wilford wanted, and in return, he releases the brake and the train starts moving again. Melanie plants a sticky bomb on the train and she was able to get on Big Alice. Melanie is captured and reunited with Wilford and Alex, and she is surprised to see her daughter alive. But Alex is upset and angry with her for leaving her behind. Wilford demands from Melanie that she surrenders Snowpiercer. Melanie refuses and lets him know that she is no longer in charge of the Snowpiercer and it is not hers to give. Meanwhile, on Snowpiercer, Layton leads an invasion on Big Alice, but they have to retreat as Mr. Wilford, with scientists on his train, managed to create a soldier who can resist severe cold. But as they get back, they were able to capture a hostage, Kevin. Wilford, angry with the attack, stops the train and decides to disconnect the Snowpiercer, letting every passenger on it die, and Alex complies after a few moments of hesitation. But it turns out that Melanie planted the sticky bomb on the connecting mechanism, and them trying to disconnect destroys it. And now Snowpiercer and Big Alice are connected permanently, and Wilford, not seeing any other option, is forced to start the trains and they get moving again. Layton declares martial law on the Snowpiercer for now, and despite his protest, Ruth moves him to the first, along with a pregnant Zara. In addition, Layton also appoints Till as the new train detective, and her first assignment is finding out the culprits who attacked the tailie and chopped off her fingers. On Big Alice, Melanie tries to connect with her daughter and explains to her that she never left her behind. Indeed, she sent men to get her, but Alex is not interested in her explanations as she is quite angry with her. And in Snowpiercer, Layton and Roche, interrogating Kevin, learn from him that there are around 100 people on Big Alice and that there is also a shortage of food. Mr. Wilford, in order to learn more about Layton, decides to trade Melanie with Kevin. And on Kevin's return, Wilford, learning that Kevin provided information, compels him to cut his own wrist, while Melanie informs Layton that she believes that CW7, the compound that froze the Earth, is breaking up in the atmosphere, resulting in the planet starting to warm up again. And Snowpiercer launches a weather balloon in the upper atmosphere to confirm this theory, and they get a positive result. But in order to know more, they need equipments and resources which Big Alice has, and to get access to those, they come up with a plan and invite Mr. Wilford to hold a scientific summit in the first class. And Wilford, seeing it as a chance to have an audience and hoping that Alex can take out Layton, agrees to join. During the summit, Melanie informs everyone that the earth is warming and they might soon be able to settle on the ground, and thus proposes a plan for it. And seeing the enthusiasm of the people, Wilford agrees to help with the equipments, and with so much going on, Alex was not able to make an attempt on Layton's life. While Till, investigating the attack on the tailie, matches Wilford's 3-signature salute to her fingers being chopped, making them realize that Wilford's supporters are already present in the train. Meanwhile, Zara, helping in the third, discovers that Josie is still alive, but she has severe frostburns, and Layton, getting to know this, rushes to see her. Josie, bitter about her condition, agrees to support Layton, recognizing that Layton's child and Melanie's plan represents hope for the future. As Melanie gets ready to go to Big Alice to collect equipments and leave, Layton suggests trade for food in exchange of equipment needed to carry out repairs in Snowpiercer. Layton also allows Pike to smuggle between the trains, but lets him know that he will have the final say on what is traded. While on Big Alice, as Melanie prepares for her departure, she finally bonds with Alex, leading to a tearful goodbye. And after crossing a dangerous section on the tracks, Melanie finally gets off to make her way to the research station. Wilford offers to treat Snowpiercer's frostbite patients that were injured during the attack, and Layton, in order to reciprocate, decides to invite Wilford and his crew on the Snowpiercer for a night out. During the party, people from both the trains connect as Snowpiercer launches the first weather balloon, and after a tense moment, Melanie makes contact, proving that she has survived the journey and has reached the research station. We also learn that Miss Audrey and Wilford have a unique relation in the past, which is rekindled during this visit, while Zara joins hospitality in order to contribute and in hopes that Layton can start trusting Ruth more. The scientists on Big Alice are unable to treat Josie's frostbite, and they wish to take her back to Big Alice for better treatment, and Josie agrees to go with them and lets Layton know that she can be their ears and eyes on Big Alice. Josie is observing and sending information back to Snowpiercer through Pike's smuggling network. Terence discovers the secret and he tries to blackmail Layton, but Layton pushes Pike to assassinate Terence. As the train prepares to turn around, Melanie fails to make her final check-in, but the crew decide to keep it as a secret in order to keep hope alive. Wilford invites Miss Audrey to spend time with him on Big Alice, and she agrees to do so. Layton, learning from Josie that Wilford is planning something big, decides to close the border, and before the border could be closed, Wilford offers Audrey and Ruth to join him on Big Alice. While Audrey accepts the offer, Ruth chooses to be on Snowpiercer. And during the night, all the Breakmen, except Bojon, are attacked and killed by masked people. And with things already tense between the Third and the Tailies, the attack on the Breakmen gave it a final push, and it leads to riots. Ruth, hiding with the Tailies, gets to see the trauma she caused during the old regime and feels quite guilty. And as the attacks go wild, Layton, in an effort to defuse the situation, offers his arm to be taken so that things could be calmed. But Ruth stands up for him, urging people not to make the same mistake she did, and she is finally able to calm everyone down. Till was able to track down one of Breachman's killer, a first-class passenger, and listening to her she realizes that it is Pastor Logan who is the mastermind behind the attacks. And as Till confronts him, he committed suicide rather than informing on others. And as the train passes through a multi-layered bridge, passengers on the Snowpiercer lit up the train, showing their support for Wilford's leadership. Back on Big Alice, Audrey is enlisted by Mr. Wilford in order to treat traumatized Kevin, and Audrey turns him into a fully brainwashed follower of Mr. Wilford. Wilford, on seeing the lights in the train, knows that his plan has worked and sends Icy Bob to do further damage, and it turns out that he sabotaged Snowpiercer's intake valve, and doing so, he nearly got killed. Bojon was able to fix the problem, and now knowing that it was Wilford behind it, he promises his loyalty to Layton. Though Bojon was able to solve the problem, but the sabotage destroyed the processing unit in the train's engine, and thus forces Layton to allow Mr. Wilford to get to the engine, as he is the only one who can fix it. Though Layton tries to hide Mr. Wilford's presence in the engine, Wilford had to manually restart the engine. In addition, he also reveals his presence to the train, letting them know that the day was saved by him. With Wilford becoming their savior and being in the engine, he has a majority support, and Layton knowing that he lost the support of the people, steps down and marks a change in leadership by shooting a flare, and Wilford takes his seat in the Snowpiercer's engine. With Wilford taking control of Snowpiercer, Roche is placed into the drawers on Big Alice along with his family, while Javi works on Big Alice's engine under guards, and Ben is doing the same on Snowpiercer. And Layton is forced to work in compost on Big Alice. Wilford also opens a carnival on the train and begins segregating list of passengers based on different parameters. In addition, he also informs Alex that they have lost touch with Melanie and he won't be going back to get her. Wilford is also hosting a dinner and tries to woo Zara, Till, and Ruth to support him, but Alex reveals that he killed half of the people on Big Alice's crew in order to save resources, and he is planning to do the same on Snowpiercer. Knowing this, Ruth turns on him completely, and she is also sent to work on compost with Layton. Meanwhile, Javi was able to pick up a transmission from Melanie, and he was able to send it to Layton and Ruth, which gives them hope, and they start plotting their escape. And we find out that Melanie reached the research station, but most of her supplies were lost in an avalanche. And in the research station, she was also able to find some rats who managed to stay alive due to a geothermal vent opening. As Melanie regains strength, we learn that she was not able to make the final contact as the antenna got destroyed. Despite not being able to communicate, Melanie was able to make it back to the tracks, but the Snowpiercer and Big Alice rush past her and she sees her daughter calling out for her as she is left alone on the side of the tracks. And we find out that after getting the message, Layton and Ruth manage to escape, infiltrate, and take over Big Alice's engine with Alex's help, and Javi coordinates with Ben to make the return trip for Melanie. And Alex goes to Snowpiercer to keep Wilford distracted. Layton and Ruth are also smuggled back to the Snowpiercer. With the change in track approaching, Ben is able to take control of the Snowpiercer's engine, but Wilford gets to know the change in track as LJ catches Alex in a deceit, and Wilford makes his way back to Big Alice's engine and breaks open its gate, and Javi is attacked by Wilford's dog, Jupiter. And it is Wilford who prevents them from picking up Melanie, even though Ben tried to brake, but the power on Big Alice was far greater, causing sparks to fly as they pass the stranded Melanie, with Alex shouting for her mother. Alex attacks Wilford as she escapes to Snowpiercer while Wilford is being treated by the doctors. Alex gets to Layton and proposes a plan of creating a 10-car pirate train by breaching the aquarium car, which will allow them to go back for Melanie. And as they go ahead with the plan, Zara chooses to remain behind as she feels it will be much safer for her. As Bojan tries to disconnect the car, he is stopped by Jack Boots, and as Mr. Wilford moves forward, Layton is able to hold him back by taking Audrey as a hostage, and Josie, now strong to survive the cold, destroys the aquarium from the outside, successfully separating the trains. The pirate train now includes Ben, Till, Josie, and Alex, as well as captive Audrey. Layton and Alex finally reach the research station, only to find out Melanie has gone, and Melanie, in her final message, informed Alex that she walked into the freeze after spending all of her resources and ensuring that the data would survive. And as the season ends, we get to see that the data reveals several areas on the Earth which have started to warm up, and Layton and the crew decides to head back to get their train.
Thanks for watching, and if you liked it, please subscribe.